in this whole ball of flood and properties and rebuilding, remodeling, and taxes, what should people know? When should they contact the property appraiser's office? Let's define
what we do.
Yeah. Mike Twitty knows a lot about a lot of stuff, but specifically for the property appraiser office, what are we looking at?
And first off, I'm not the tax collector. So
do not beat up Mike about taxes.
Because we are part of the equation for sure. We're one of the variables.
Okay.
Value times millage rate, or tax rate, equals taxes. So we determine that value piece as of January 1 each year. That's that snapshot in time, and it's based on the condition of the property and market conditions as of that point in time. So that is one of our duties. So that is to the tune of almost 450,000 parcels of real estate and tangible personal property. Tangibles that is not exempt, that does not meet the $25,000 exemption. So that's mostly your business equipment that falls under that. So a lot of parcels, that's a lot of stuff for us to try to touch each year. And then exemptions. So we administer all the property tax exemptions. So that's everything from homestead, which is the big one, people think about. That includes, administering that Save Our Homes cap that sits on top of homesteaded assessed values that helps protect people over the long haul. And then other types of personal exemptions, whether it's disability, low-income senior, different institutional exemptions, affordable housing exemptions, historic exemptions, all those types of things. We have to administer all that. So those are two of our primary roles, but then we also maintain the ownership records. So we get the deeds from the clerk as those are recorded. It's usually a several day, well, it depends on market cycles. When we were going crazy and sales were like nuts, we were probably about a month behind. In a more normalized market, clerk's probably within a week, and then we're within a week to half a week behind them to get stuff up onto our website.
Let me ask you a question about that. Does it stress you out when you fall behind? I get stressed out if I have a bunch of emails. Yeah. It just bothers me, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got emails in my inbox. I've got to respond to these things. So anyhow, just from the personal side, does that feel like, hey, I know we're going to get it. We're working as hard as we can.
Right.
Because to your credit, to your office as well, I reached out to them over, I forget what it was, asking maybe about the calamity rules or something along those lines. They responded very quickly. I was pleasantly surprised at how quickly your office reached back out with information and maybe above and beyond. So I want to give credit to them, for what we saw.
They do a good job of helping me look good, so I appreciate it.
We always tell clients, like, if you have a question, call them up. They answer the phone. You're not on hold typically at all.
Our average on hold time is 9 seconds.
Well, yeah.
It might be up a little bit right now.
Okay.
Just because of everything going on, but that's where we typically run. And then we have an email account that we just call Mike Mail. So it's mike@pcpao.gov. So that's our main, just inbox that gets triaged each day. And they try to turn that stuff around, within a day in most cases. So
what was that called? The Mike box?
We just call it Mike Mail.
Mike Mail. Okay, gotcha. I like that. That's good.
So it's just mike@pcpao.gov.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's an easy way to get in touch right there for sure.
Right. A lot of people think that's coming straight to me because I get all, they'll forward and go, Mike, I think this person knows you. I think they think they're talking straight to you. But they do a great job of, managing those. And
I'm sure the stuff that needs to get to you gets to you in that form.
That's right.
That you have that oversight of these things.
Yes.
So in the kind of spirit of rebuilding and looking at all the damages and things like that, kind of walk us through part of the processes that your office handles in regards to rebuilding or potentially fixing and kind of the different logistics and different tools and things that you guys provide.
All right, so we've got quite a bit and we've been developing a lot recently. And again, within our lane. You know, again, that January 1 is that magic snapshot in time. So we're coming up on that. I'm a little concerned about trying to get our arms around. We had actually a directors meeting this morning talking about that, because we're going to have to use the best data available to get our arms around a lot of that. So some of that comes from the original damage assessments that were done, which were essentially the windshield assessments, when not only we support the Pinellas County's building department's effort in doing those initial damage assessments after hurricanes. So that's when you're making major, minor, affected, or destroyed calls. So we have that data. So we're going to be leaning on some of that. Now we have water depth data, and we have inundation maps, and we have LIDAR. So LIDAR gives us, we know what grade is. Sorry, I got to get some water. Yeah. So we'll be using that data to make some of these initial calls when we get to January 1. We're going to be waiting for data to come back from the cities and the county that's going to, okay, these people got a substantial damage letter. If they know that they're going to knock their homes down, because a lot of people are telling some of the building officials, hey, I'm going to go ahead and knock this down. Let us know that, because then we can take the entire structure off the roll for 2025.
Let me just ask that again, because that's very relevant information for us, because we have a lot of clients who are in the process and saying, yes, we want to rebuild, but we have to get our substantial damage letter first. Mm-hmm. And they're concerned, and again, I don't think this is the majority. I think this is more the minority when it comes to being concerned that they're not going to get the substantial damage.
Right. And I know where you're going. So this is a disconnect between insurance and calamity.
Okay.
You don't need a substantial damage letter for calamity.
Okay.
But you do need one to get your increased cost of compliance, which is your extra $30,000 on your insurance claim.
Okay.
So that's what I think most people are waiting on. They're trying to get that letter so they can get ICC.
Gotcha.
You're on that real quick, like because some people, you hear different things from everybody. Our understanding is the ICC funds are available once you get your substantial damage claim, but it's not in addition to the 250. The 250 would be the max.
All inclusive, yes.
All inclusive. So people need to understand you're not going to get 250 plus 30. If you have 220, you could get up to the 250, but it's not in addition to the 250.
That's spot on. Okay. Yes. Yes. So through that process, like I said, we're going to be collecting all that data. I met with the mayors in Treasure Island and Madeira yesterday and reinforced to them, hey, when you know these things, make sure your building officials are sending that data our way so we can tag those appropriately in our system. Because we know, even though we're doing an effective date of January 1, we don't finish the roll and submit it to Department of Revenue till July. So that gives us some runway to make some adjustments to things up until that time.
So how does that work if somebody, for instance, like they know they're going to tear their home down, but we've already seen, it's into January, February. By the time the demo company is going to be able to go there, in permitting, how does that affect what you need, from them, what documentation you need from them, and then how do they get that off their tax record? This is layered. Right. and what is an example benefit of why they would want to do that?
Mm-hmm. Well, if we're able to take the structure off, it's gonna, and not in all cases, it depends on where their Save Our Homes cap is too. I mean, we have people that have been in their homes so long that their assessed value, because of the Save Our Homes cap, is still below land value. So if you take the improvement off, it doesn't really have any effect.
Could it potentially increase, or it wouldn't necessarily do that?
No, it wouldn't increase. Yeah, because it's not going to reset, especially if they're homesteaded.
Right. Okay.
So that would be an advantage to get that improvement off in many cases. And then, and actually we do usually prorate between the land and the improvement for the assessment cap. So It's to their benefit to let us know as soon as they know that they're going to remove that improvement. Because even if we can do it before July, or really June is a better time, because we still have to do our preliminary estimates that go to the taxing authorities. We do those by June 1, and then by July 1, the official preliminary roll that goes to the Department of Revenue goes there. And then it still gets worked over the summer until we get up to trim time, which is, the notice of proposed property taxes.
So when you say, is there you kind of like let us know, what does that look like? Is that a specific form that they say, an affidavit saying they're tearing down their home, or application for a demolition permit? What is that?
Yeah, this is different than the normal process, because normally what happens is people pull a demo permit. We end up picking up on that permit. We send them what we call a demo letter, and we say, hey, we picked up on this demolition permit. Do you plan to keep your homestead, and it's a homesteaded property, do you plan to keep your homestead intact here? Because you can do that while you're building it, as long as you don't claim homestead somewhere else, and we can keep your cap in place. So that's our normal process. This is a little different. So we'll still go through that process, but if they can shortcut that and let us know in advance, then we can deal with some of that sooner.
Today.
So it's just an email to the Mike mailbox?
Yeah, can be.
It can just shoot that on over?
Easy, yes.
Okay. So that's good advice. So anybody who's thinking of rebuilding next year, or knows that they're going to rebuild and tear down that home that is currently on the land.
Right.
Do it sooner than later.
Do it sooner than later.
Just push that in, give us your parcel number, your address, and your name, so we can make sure, your ownership matches up with the right property. And then when it comes into Mike mail, it'll get pushed over to the area appraiser that deals with that, and they may reach back out and talk to the property owner, or they'll at least put that flag on that parcel so we know what's going on.